So I'll let you go first. What's your thoughts on Suicide Squad?
Well, I guess we can just go straight into it, dive right into it. My thoughts on Suicide Squad, it's hard to say I didn't like the movie. I did enjoy it as a film, just as an entertainment factor, but
likewise,
being a nerd, I guess they would like to call it, or a fan, I was kind of upset with the property as a whole. Mostly because there is a perfectly good animated version, and it seems like what they had done was say, we don't want to remake something because we want to be original. And just because there's an old saying, I guess, or an internet saying, I don't know where it comes from, but just because you're original doesn't mean you're good or even useful. So they made this movie trying to be original, and realistically, it was just a massive disappointment to me. I saw the animated version beforehand and then saw this and thought, okay, but why?
Okay.
They have needed, and yet they somehow decided to not make a good movie. Or a faithful movie, I should say. Shouldn't say good, but faithful.
Okay. So if you were managing the property, how would you start the film, and how would you end it? I can give you an idea of what I would want to do.
Amanda Waller scene with Bruce Wayne.
You want to start with Amanda Waller having a conversation with Bruce Wayne. That's good. But about what?
Yeah.
What would you say that they would talk about?
I would have it where the Suicide Squad, I wouldn't say is her last resort, but I would, as Amanda Waller, I see her as a leader, a general sort of person. I'd want to see that maybe she was trying to enlist the help of Batman because she already knows who Bruce Wayne is, to come up with some kind of plan to defeat Superman, and him not being on board with Amanda Waller as her personal tactics being what they are.
Ah, okay.
So that it makes it so that she creates the Suicide Squad out of necessity because, well, we can't get Batman, so let's try to get the Joker. Well, the Joker is non-cooperative as he is the Joker. So that moves us into, well, if he's not cooperating, who else can we get? And that's how she starts building out the Suicide Squad.
It sounds like you would change the story, the way the story was written in Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah, Batman versus Superman. I have some issues with that, but we can get into that another time.
But you had said you would have had her meet up with Bruce Wayne on the issue of Superman, how to deal with Superman when he was not presumed dead.
Well, yeah, he's not presumed dead, but see, that's the thing is I would... it's a huge mess. I mean, we could get into just the whole DCU or DCEU property as a whole, but it's a huge mess. Superman should have been alive. The conversation she had with Bruce Wayne should have been after Man of Steel, so to introduce the whole Bruce Wayne Batman is in this universe. Mm-hmm. Kind of give us everything in order, as opposed to, since they didn't give us, the DCEU did not give us a Batman movie, and they seem to either think we won't remember, think we don't care, or hopefully just think we'll forget. But we didn't get a DCEU Batman movie. He's just been a supporting character to Wonder Woman and Superman throughout. I'd love to see a Batman movie. I would like to see how they treat that, but we're getting an Aquaman movie first.
Yeah,
whatever.
I would agree with you. That would be a good backstory in Amanda Waller to have a meeting with Batman. Maybe she could have been written as a character who gave Batman his suit.
Gives Batman his suit, or even just realistically, even just giving us she's aware of Batman. Batman exists in this universe, and we are going to. She won't. The only reason I'm saying this is because at the end of the day, the Suicide Squad, they're bad guys, as they say in the movie. And Amanda Waller, as much as she is not exactly the best human being on the planet, it seems like enlisting the aid of, super criminals, for lack of a better word, would kind of be a last resort kind of option that she is exercising. So I want to see what other options she went through before she decided, okay, I guess my only option here is the Suicide Squad.
Okay. Well, to be clear, they're not all bad people. Colonel Rick Flag is not an inmate. He's a patriotic soldier. He led the squad. He was part of Suicide Squad.
Well, that is very true. That is my mistake.
Okay.
But other than Rick Flag, and which honestly, I mean, you are right. I will give you that you are 100% correct. But I've always viewed Rick Flag as, for lack of a better way of putting it, he is the Suicide Squad handler. Not exactly
not a team member.
Part of the team.
That's interesting. Let's see. I like the idea of the Batman thing. How do you feel about the size of the cast? Did you think it was too big? I for one thought it was way too big of a group to start off with.
Without the four soldiers, I hate to say that because we could have done without the four soldiers. One character who died right away was, I believe his name was Slipknot.
Slipknot. I couldn't remember his name. That was his name. Correct.
We could have done without that character completely. I see his purpose as to show that Amanda Waller is not afraid to terminate one of the members.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No, it's no worries. So yeah, we could have done completely without that character as a whole. Who else? Okay, unpopular opinion, but for the first Suicide Enchantress, which they wanted me to believe that she was menacing and evil.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say I didn't buy it because I understand what her purpose was as a villain, but she was so one-dimensional. I mean, why is she this way? Yes, Amanda Waller has her heart. I get that. But why though? Where did Amanda Waller
I get what you're saying.
Made a movie, but it should fall in line with something in the comic books. Instead, they just decided to give us something nobody knew about because, reasons. I don't even know why they would do that, but hey, reasons. And then they get upset and they want to keep, blaming the critics or whatever about, the critics are the reasons why we're not succeeding. The reason they don't succeed is because they do things like Suicide Squad. What
I also find interesting about Suicide Squad, and I didn't want to get into this until the end segment of our discussion regarding Suicide Squad, is that this movie, Suicide Squad, is created by David Ayer. And if you look at the list on IMDb, the list of movies he's made outside of Suicide Squad are Fury, Sabotage, End of Watch, Harsh Times, SWAT, Dark Blue, Training Day, Fast and Furious, U571. Now, I would think that with those list of movies, he'd keep the movies simple. He'd keep the group of characters small. But he didn't. He went with Enchantress, and then he mixed that up with a bunch of gunslingers. And then he threw in a couple of metahumans in there. It was kind of weird. I'm also surprised that they pick a director like this with this kind of resume. Because as I look at this list outside of Suicide Squad, none of these movies scream sci-fi movies. None of this has any example of him making anything close to a comic book movie. These are basic action movies. Basic Bruce Willis type, Die Hard kind of action movies. They're not anything like sci-fi or comic book related whatsoever.
And that, to me, that is already a huge problem. David Ayer being on this project is already a huge problem. And I mean, hey, some people agree, some people disagree. But just like you said, he did End of Watch.
Right. And it's a cop show. A cop movie.
A cop movie. And then Training Day. But the problem is that we keep getting these David Ayer isms in his movie, or in the Suicide Squad. I mean, okay, so we got the Joker. Now, the Joker becomes a David Ayer character where he becomes the clown Cholo.
Okay, and I think that with all the bling he was wearing and the
gold teeth. And that is signature David Ayer. That is just David Ayer.
Since he did Fast and the Furious, that seems a lot like some of the characters that were in Fast and the Furious that you saw in the racing show of that movie.
Right. We get these signature David Ayer isms. Even, El Diablo, or, Pyro. We got Pyro Cholo.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't follow the DC comics as faithfully as I do the MCU, so maybe that is that character. But, I mean, they made no qualms about it. That guy, when he's in his free time, drives a lowrider, and, he drives a lowrider, and don't look him in the eye because, that is a direct form of confrontation. And I'm not trying to be a bigot. It's just kind of one of those things where, because of where I live, I've run across that guy before. I don't like it. I understand that everybody needs representation in movies, but David Ayer picks the worst. He picks the gangsters and then says this is their representation, and I'm not about it. I don't like David Ayer. I'll just say that. I do not like him as a director. I don't like his work. I don't.
Well,
even in to watch.
I don't want to destroy the guy totally, but his type of thing is cop shows. I mean, look at Dark Blue. That's a cop movie. SWAT. I didn't really like that movie too much. I like the beginning part of that, but it's basically a cop movie. These are serious type movies. In comic books, it's supposed to be fun. It's kind of like out of the box thinking. It's sci-fi. It deals with outer space and stuff like that. You have to have a really open mindset. And this is more closed-minded stuff. This is more like realistic, serious, maybe too serious for a kind of genre like Suicide Squad.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is when we do David Ayer movies work, and I'm not a fan, but I'll say they work with things like SWAT, End of Watch, where we're going to be dealing with that criminal element and the police or, the military or whatever. We're going to be dealing with that sort of element. When you put him in something like Suicide Squad, you get this ridiculousness that's like, okay. I mean, sure. In today's society, the Joker would be a little street. We'll say that. We could say the Joker would be more street than he was in, say, Batman, the animated series. Nobody does that 1950s-esque, wears a suit all the time, American gangster type of thing. Well, not nobody, but that wouldn't be the Joker.
Yeah. When I think Joker, I think back to the late 80s with Jack Nicholson and Tim Burton.
Yeah. And honestly, when I think of the Joker, I think of Jack Nicholson, and if we're not doing Jack Nicholson, then we got to go full psycho with Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Between those two. But the sense is, though, is...
you've got this mob boss who had an accident, and now he's like bitter, and at the same time he's seeing the dark humor in it, and we're kind of like, okay, I'm with it, I'm following, let's do this. With Suicide Squad, we got blinged out clown Cholo, and I can't mess with it. I can't mess with the artistry of that. I mean, I understand everybody has their style.
Okay.
But David Ayer isms do not belong in superhero movies.
So who would be your choice for the director of a Suicide Squad movie? I can give you one. Edge of Tomorrow movie. Tom Cruise. The director of that was Doug Liman.
Doug Liman would have done a good job. I mean, I loved Edge of Tomorrow. I did.
Yeah, that movie received bigger applause. Here's a movie that I am still waiting to see. Part 2 of Dredd. It was directed by Pete Travis.
Yes. I didn't know who directed it, but I was thinking of Dredd. Whoever did Dredd, so I guess you just gave me the answer to that. We could use that